In Bergen lies Norway's oldest modern waterworks, Svartedika Water Treatment Plant, one of the country's largest facilities in the food processing industry. Strategically flanked by two mountains, Bergen and Fløyen, in a city that boasts the highest annual rainfall figures in Europe, with an annual precipitation of 2,200 millimeters. Thus, the lack of water is hardly a problem. Nevertheless, the hot and dry spells of the early 19th century, coupled with the cholera outbreak, gave rise to a demand for a reliable municipal water supply. From as far back as 1855, Svartedika has been supplying the centre of Bergen with water. At that time, it seemed sensible to build a plant at the Molendals watercourse, the city's largest and most stable flow of water. Dams had been constructed earlier at Svartedika to secure water supply to mills and industry. A lot has happened since the waterworks was established in 1855. In 1903, Bergen Municipal Council acquired Svartedika and the surrounding watershed, thus securing access to good quality water. Farming activities in the valley ceased and the buildings were demolished. The last remaining smallholding was removed in 1941. Water was also a vital resource to the industrial activities in the city. With the growth of the urban area, the waterworks capacity soon became insufficient, and it was necessary to increase the volume of the reservoir. In 1882, the council erected a new paved dam, which was in operation for over 70 years. It was eventually replaced by the current concrete dam, completed in 1955. A buttress dam built to withstand the huge forces of the retained water. The height of the dam was increased by 11 meters to 18.7 meters, and the two bodies of water, Svartedika and Isdal, became one. The actual water storage is currently 4.9 million cubic meters. Since the start over 150 years ago, the plant has been frequently upgraded. Expertise has been acquired and new technologies and methods of water treatment developed. As the second largest city in Norway, Bergen has focused on being at the forefront in terms of expertise and technology. In 1999, planning of a completely new treatment plant at Svartedika started. The overall objective has been to supply hygienically safe and good quality potable water. In selecting a new water treatment process, emphasis was placed on reducing the internal corrosion of the mains, decreasing the humus content, and deactivating harmful microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses and parasites. All these elements are crucial to providing good quality drinking water. 8 different concepts met the requirements. These were based on 5 different principles of treatment. The council decided to opt for the moulder process. Preparation work and securing of the mountainside took place in the autumn of 2003. The construction of the plant began the following year. Due to the limited space at the site and safety considerations, the treatment plant was built inside the mountain, adjacent to the dam. During the 3-year construction phase, about 200,000 cubic meters of rock was blasted and extracted. Every 4 minutes, trucks drove through the residential area. Tremors from the blasting never exceeded the statutory limits. The intake of the new plant is at a depth of 28 meters. A coarse screen is mounted on the intake pipeline. The intake line continues into the mountain to a tunnel that feeds water into the heart of the treatment plant. The raw water pumps can supply up to 925 litres per second through the plant. The plant is installed with stainless steel pipes and fittings with diameters up to 900 millimeters. The water treatment plant is built partly with 2 separate production lines to safeguard against any operational breakdown. The actual water treatment process consists of the following key elements. The filtering plant, consisting of 12 filters in 2 lines, containing nozzles in the bottom, a support layer of gravel, 2 meters of crushed marble, 40 centimeters of sand, and 60 centimeters of anthracite. CO2 is added before the filters. This ensures that the lime in the marble dissolves, giving the water an increased level of calcium, higher pH value and alkalinity. The result is water that reduces internal corrosion in public and private water pipes. Ferric chloride sulfate is then added to form small colloids or flocks. By means of various mechanisms, humus, particles, bacteria, viruses, cysts of parasites, etc. are attached to these flocks. They are now so large that they are retained in the filters and then separated from the water. When cleaning the filters, each filter chamber is emptied and flushed from beneath with compressed air and then raw water. The backwash water is then collected and fed to a large gravity thickener. The clear water at the top of the thickener is fed back to the water source. Sludge at the bottom is discharged to the sewage system. The first batch of water produced immediately after the filter has been flushed and cleaned is fed back to the water source. When this maturation period is completed, the water continues to the next stage of treatment. A disinfection stage with ultraviolet radiation treating the water after filtration. The ultraviolet rays kill harmful microorganisms such as bacteria and parasites. After the water has been filtered and disinfected, it is routed to a clean water basin of 15,000 cubic meters inside the mountain. Clean water is routed from this basin to the city centre. Water is also pumped up to the higher supply zones at 125 and 205 meters above sea level. The Svartedika water treatment plant will normally produce about 45,000 cubic meters per day, but this rate can be increased to 80,000 cubic meters per day. Water consumption of the entire Bergen area is about 44 million cubic meters a year. After the merging of Bergen with the surrounding municipalities in 1972, Bergen was supplied by 18 large and small public waterworks that were hardly interconnected. Some plants have been built, some upgraded, and many have been closed down. Currently, 5 main plants and 1 minor facility cover the water supply to Bergen. The main treatment plants are connected by pipes and tunnel systems. Thus, if one facility stops functioning, another plant can take over the supply. Operational breakdown up to a couple of days may be handled by reserves in the tunnel basins. The water supply system in Bergen comprises 65 dams, 6 water treatment plants in operation, 4 reserve facilities, about 900 kilometers of water pipes, 34 elevated water basins, 82 pump stations and many other smaller installations. Replacement costs of all these facilities will be over 7 billion Norwegian kroner. From the time the main part of the area was purchased to the modern day, there have been restrictions imposed on the drainage basins, such as no swimming, fishing or boating. However, general public access is not restricted. Complete status for the water supply network is provided by a SCADA system, a tool for supervisory control and data acquisition. Being prepared for an emergency is the chief priority, and the control centre is manned 24 hours a day. People can report any discrepancies whenever they occur. Leakages and other reports are followed up and contribute to a decision basis for prioritising pipeline renovation or development work. In the event of failures, an alarm is sent to the control centre and the officers on duty are dispatched for repair work and adjustments. Of the total amount of water cleaned, roughly 30% is lost due to leakages annually. Even though the population is steadily increasing, the target for the annual demand for water is to remain at about 40 million cubic meters. As in the last 36 years, the rise in water demand has been met with a corresponding reduction in leakage rate. This requires an intensive search for leaks, renewal of old pipelines, and swift action to repair leaks in public and private water pipes. Bergen's water supply system is highly complex, with over 35,000 valves and 10,000 manholes. To prevent the water quality from deteriorating on its route to the consumers, the water mains must be kept in good condition. Accordingly, cleaning the water mains is vital. Pipeline stretches are flushed and cleaned with a soft plug. This is conducted mainly at night. In the autumn of 2004, an outbreak of Giardia occurred in Bergen. The potable water from Svartedika was pointed out as a source of infection. But with the current water treatment plant in operation, Bergen has at least 2 hygienic barriers against contamination, including parasites. Thus, it is protected from new outbreaks. The water quality is checked by routine samples in consultation with the Norwegian Food Safety Authority and according to the regulations governing drinking water. Samples are analysed at an internal laboratory and at external ones in Norway and Sweden. All water sample results are recorded in a database. Data are regularly updated and made available to customers on the internet. This is a clean and reliable water supply compliant with current regulations. All this is to ensure that the local population of 250,000 and the many visitors are provided with reliable and good quality tap water.